Thank you so much for tuning in to KEXP, where the music matters. I'm Cheryl Waters, and you're listening to The Midday Show. We're at 90.3 FM in Seattle, streaming worldwide at kexp.org. I'm always happy to have Best Coast in the house. It's wonderful to see you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And a new album, Always Tomorrow. I can't stop listening to it, and I'm so happy we're going to hear some songs live today.
Yeah.
You ready?
Thanks, yeah. First one's called Different Light.
You're listening to Best Coast live on KEXP.
Crawl all the way back home. I used to cry myself to sleep, reading all the names they called me. Used to say that I was lazy, lazy, crazy baby. Did they think that maybe I was in on it? Did they think? No, of course they did.
That's Best Coast live on KEXP. You all sound fantastic. It's so wonderful to have you here.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
Bethany, music's been an important part of your life, kind of your whole life, definitely since you were very young. I remember reading about you writing songs with your guitar in a notebook at your mom's house. And you've said that it's kind of like therapy for you. And after you finished your tour for California Nights, I heard that you were kind of creatively paralyzed. And I'm just jumping right things right here, but you practically had to force yourself to begin to write again. And that sounds a little bit scary, maybe
Yeah.
a little bit painful and confusing. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, basically, Best Coast took off like very quickly. When Bob and I started this band, like we really didn't have any expectations for it. And so I think, when stuff sort of just like Crazy for You came out and we were like off to the races, I don't think I really ever had time to sort of process like how much my life had changed. And my identity felt so rooted to Best Coast, and I really didn't know like who I was outside of the band. And I think at the end of the last album cycle, when I came home, that was like the first time that we didn't really have any like future plans. We didn't have any tours lined up. I didn't know if we were gonna like go in and make another record. So all of a sudden life was just life. And it all hit me like a tidal wave. And I was just like, oh, I don't know like who I am and how to do this. And so it was just like really hard because I did have a lot to say, but I just didn't feel like I could get it out. And yes, like writing being sort of a primary tool for me in terms of like getting out my thoughts and my feelings, like not being able to do that through song was very hard for me. And then, it sort of like slowly started to come back and started to work. But that period for me was really intense for sure.
It sounds like you didn't really have the coping skills to
No.
navigate, the success that you achieved and what you were going through. And so to help you navigate that, you self-medicated. And when did you realize that it was important for you to become sober?
I kind of like always knew that the way in which I like used drugs and alcohol was probably not like a cool way. Like I was kind of always like, I don't really know if this is like, the way it's supposed to be done. But I don't know. I think like around the time that I got sober, which was in 2017, November of 2017, was sort of like when I finally just realized like, what I'm doing isn't really helping me. And there were like a lot of things and factors in my life that were sort of, that felt very tied to that. And so it was kind of for me really about like just detaching from a lot of stuff in my life and moving forward. And sobriety was like a huge part of that. So yeah.
Always Tomorrow is embedded with a lot of positivity, and it definitely reflects your current lifestyle changes. And you've said in the past that drinking had numbed you. And how has sobriety affected how you've approached or connect with music?
I think it's like, for me, like being sober is really just like the way in which I view the world, the way in which I approach things, the way in which I like engage with people is so different because my whole viewpoint of life is different. Like I feel like I'm a lot nicer. I'm like a lot happier. I definitely like still struggle with human emotions because I'm a human, but I just feel like the way in which I've learned to sort of like approach the world through this lens of sobriety has been really helpful for me in terms of performing. I feel like a lot more connected to the songs. I feel a lot more connected to my voice. I feel a lot more connected to the audience. Like it's just a whole different ballgame for me now.
Well, one of the ways that you approach connecting with people differently is with your longtime bandmate and good friend, Bob. And it looks like you approached writing songs differently this time. And tell me a little bit about that.
Well, so around the time that I was really struggling with writing, I just kind of like, I had like talked to some friends that are in bands where they primarily just write the lyrics and the melodies, and the other person in the band or other people in the band sort of send them tracks to write to. And I was like, oh, okay, like I've never considered doing that for Best Coast. Like maybe that's something that would really help me. So I reached out to Bob and I basically just said like, hey, would you just try writing some music? I don't care what it sounds like. Just send it to me so that maybe I can sit and use it as an activity to just try to write stuff. And the first thing he sent me later became a song on the album called Graceless Kids. And I remember like when he first sent it to me, I was like, this is very different than anything I would have written. And that sort of felt, I was a little scared because it was just challenging, because I was like, okay, this is now his baby. I don't want to mess it up. Like, I want him to be happy. So then I got in my own way in like a totally different way. But I remember like sitting in my kitchen at the time, writing to it, and just like, I got so excited because I finally felt like, oh my God, I'm able to say some of this stuff that's stuck inside of me. So when Bob started doing that, it was really helpful for me. And 4 of the songs he wrote ended up on the record.
That sounds like an incredible expansion of, both of your great talents that you bring to the new record and to the music. The first song that you wrote for this record that finally came was the one you just performed, and Everything Has Changed. And tell us a little bit about that, kind of a prophetic song, you've said.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the time that I wrote it, like, I had just moved into this house, and so therefore it kind of felt like my life had changed because I had like moved locations, and so it felt like enough of a spark to sort of encourage me to write a song about change. But when I actually really listened to the lyrics, like none of the stuff that I was talking about was real. Like, I had not quit drinking, I was not happy, like I was not waking up next to somebody every day like feeling like, oh, I'm so happy to be with you. Like, that was not how my life looked at all. So I think it was just kind of like, I don't know if it was like the energy, like something in the song just, it came out in this way that when I listen back to it now, I actually really connect to the message of the song and to the energy of the song. So yeah, it was kind of like a psychic thing. I don't know. Bob and I always joke that we're psychics, like with each other. So I think this song sort of proved the psychic thing.
Kind of gives me goosebumps. I'm struck by the title "Always Tomorrow," and there's a lot of hope and resilience in just those 2 words. What's that title mean for you?
Well, there's a song on the album called "Master of My Own Mind," in which there are lyrics that say, "For me, there's always tomorrow, even when I'm drowning in my sorrows." And I was doing a type of therapy called cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which sort of helps you harness like your anxiety. And it for me, like, it was really helpful in learning how to manage my anxiety because I used to just be such an anxious mess all the time. And so that song to me was kind of like about sort of like reclaiming your own mind and sort of like pulling back the curtain of like what's actually in here and getting in there and like digging deep and finding stuff out. And that line, "Always Tomorrow," or that line, that lyric, I think for me, like, it's really about this idea that there is always a second chance, whether it's you're going to do it better, you're going to do it worse, you're going to do it the same. Like, you do always have tomorrow, and the feelings that you feel aren't rooted in such permanence, because I think that's really how I used to feel all the time, was like the way that I felt was just how I was going to feel forever.
Well, you're right. I mean, there's darkness and there's light, and you're never going to get anything perfect, and you just kind of have to keep on keeping on, take a giant leap of faith. What are some of the things that you take with you now touring, with a different frame of mind, a different outlook? Or are you still learning that?
No, I mean, I'm actually like really having a good time. I think any of these guys that have toured with me for a while could probably say, like, I'm not the same BC. He's shaking his head like, no. I don't know. I just think it's like my mindset is really different, and I feel just really grateful to be doing what I'm doing 10 years into this. You know, like a lot of the people that started bands around the same time as we did, like they're not really around anymore, or they've moved on to do different things. And the fact that like we were able to take a 5-year break and just kind of come back with a new record, and people are still here lifting us up, like that really makes me feel excited to do this. I still complain, like I'm a person, but I do just feel a lot more connected to myself and this band and the fans. And I think that really kind of helps me get through how, hard touring can be.
You've always been very honest in your lyrics and in your interviews, and the fans really connect with that. Have you had a lot of discourse with them about what's going on with you now, and how's that been?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so many of the interviews I'm doing now are really about sobriety comes up a lot, and, sort of like how I've changed really comes up a lot. And I think like I get messages pretty much every day from fans and people out in the world that are saying like watching me and watching my growth has really influenced them or inspired them. I do get messages from people that say like, you inspired me to get sober, which for me is like really cool. And, I think at the end of the day, like if the music that we're making is affecting people in any which way, like then I think we've done our jobs.
What are some of the things you're doing in your life right now, both on and off tour, to take care of yourself, keep yourself healthy and strong?
Therapy. I'm obsessed with therapy. I wish it was accessible to everybody. I don't know, like I have a dog that's like basically my daughter now. And like, we just go for like hikes and walks and, really strong friendships. I just have a lot of really good stuff in my life, and I finally feel like I'm deserving of it. I used to really not feel like I was very deserving of anything. And so to really sort of now feel very connected to the people in my life, and the support system that I have is really special and really helps me stay afloat.
Well, it's great to see you discovering that acceptance and sort
Thanks.
of love and gratitude. We're live here in the KEXP studios with Best Coast, the new album Always Tomorrow, and we'd love to hear more music.
Okay. This one's called For the First Time.
Trying really hard, I'm trying harder than I ever have before. I used to think that taking care of myself would just become a real bore. On Friday nights, I don't spend too much time lying on the bathroom floor like I used to. The demons deep inside of me, they might have finally been set free. I guess this is what they mean when they say people can change. 'Cause I finally feel free, I feel like myself again. For the first time, I changed the color of the bed sheets, now they are a pretty pale pink. Traded her in for a new girl, and she's looking pretty fine. But sometimes she don't listen to me, and it makes me wanna lose my mind like it used to. I tried to blame it all on you, but I know that I'm to blame too. And I guess this is what they mean when they say people can change. 'Cause I finally feel free, I feel like myself again. For the first time. I used to think that I would die without you. No offense to you, but I'm doing fine too. 'Cause finally I'm free, I feel like myself again. For the first time. And no offense to you, but I'm doing fine too. For the first time, yeah, for the first time, for the first time.
Best Coast is live here in the KEXP studios, playing songs from the new album Always Tomorrow.
This next one is called Wreckage. It's one of the songs that Bob wrote the music to, inspired by Avril Lavigne.
So sorry for everything, you
sounds so great. Best Coast live here in the KEXP studios. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. Always nice to see you.
Always great to see you as well. It's Best Coast live on KEXP Seattle.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.